Right, good afternoon. In previous classes, we started about DC characteristics of operational amplifier, and we just studied about the basic characteristics of basic things about DC characteristics of operational amplifier. What is the how these DC characteristics are appeared, and what are the DC characteristics and all. Okay. So in last class, we discussed about the actual characteristics, DC characteristics. So what are the four important characteristics of DC characteristics of operational amplifiers? First one is input bias current. So this is the major cause for the DC characteristics. And second effect is input offset current and input offset voltage and thermal drift and thermal drift. So we observed about how the DC characteristics are created and how can we eliminate the DC characteristics in previous class. Okay, we studied about basic things about input bias currents, input offset currents, input voltages, and thermal drifts. Okay, so before going into the discussion, how can we eliminate these characteristics or how can we minimize these characteristics? We are going to study in this today's class, and we will wind up this DC characteristics of operational amplifier. So we are already very familiar about characteristics of operational amplifier: open loop voltage gain, input resistance, output resistance, offset voltage, slew rate, common mode rejection ratio, and all. And next we discussed about AC characteristics, and now we are discussing about DC characteristics. Okay, in AC characteristics we discussed about stability, we discussed about frequency response, we discussed about slew rate and all. So in this concept of DC characteristics, what is the main reason for creating DC characteristics in our operational amplifier means the main objective of creating DC characteristic is mostly input bias current. Most of the time, input bias currents is the main reason why input bias current is the main reason why these DC characteristics are created. That means what happens means at this condition, we already discussed in the last class. So at this condition, what happens means if the both inverting and non-inverting terminals are kept to zero, it means both are grounded. If the both terminals are grounded, both terminals inverting and non-inverting terminals are grounded. At that condition, what happens means there is no voltage flowing, but certain amount of biasing currents are present with respect to the inverting and non-inverting terminals. Okay, so these biasing currents are creating certain amount of mismatch or certain amount of disturbance in the operational amplifier. This causes the DC characteristics of operational amplifier. Okay, and next we explained about input bias voltage, input offset voltage, and input offset current, and we expressed about thermal drift. Okay, so now we will discuss about how we can control or how we can eliminate these characteristics to improve the efficiency. Okay, so now we will see how to eliminate input bias current and input offset current. Okay, we discussed both the characteristics, input bias current and input offset current. We discussed both the characteristics in open loop condition, but in practical operation amplifier, what we are doing is we are connecting a feedback. We discussed in the stress class, we have seen the figure. We connected a feedback. This is the feedback. A feedback resistance is connected to negative terminal, inverting terminal, and this is to improve. We connected the feedback in a closed loop manner, which offers proper stability. Okay, so the biasing currents IB minus is flowing through the inverting terminal, and biasing currents IB plus is flowing through the non-inverting terminal. Okay, so if we see the figure properly, input voltage is given, the input voltage is 0. Here the input voltage is 0. The inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal are grounded. Okay, both inverting and non-inverting terminals are grounded. At that time, IB minus and IB plus are flowing through the inverting and non-inverting terminals. Even though there is no input signal, at this condition, very low amount of current, base current is having a rating of 500 nanoamperes, is flowing in the operational amplifier. Okay, if the operational amplifier is constructed with the BJT, bipolar junction transistors, base current flowing is around 500 nanoamperes. The base current flown is around 500 nanoamperes. But if the operational amplifier is constructed with FETs, the base current flowing is around 500 picoamperes. So if we define this particular feedback resistor is having a particular amount of resistance, that is 1 mega ohm. If the resistance is having the rating of 1 mega ohm, what will be the output voltage? Means V naught is equal to IB into R naught. Okay, IB into R naught. So what will happen? So the output voltage will be 500 millivolts. So that means even though there is a zero input, 500 millivolts is nothing but amount of current flowing in the operational amplifier. This creates some error. This creates an error. This is a serious. This will be a serious error. Okay, that means why we are calling this as an error means when the supply condition V1 and V2 are kept grounded and V1 V2 are kept in off condition, some bias currents are flowing in the input terminals, and that causes 500 millivolts, means that creates definitely an error, and that will impact on the output of the operational amplifier. So there is a necessity in eliminating this 500 millivolts error value at the output signal, at this particular output signal. So how can we eliminate this error value, or how can we regulate this particular voltage drop in the operational amplifier means? So for this process, what we are doing means we connected a compensating resistance. Where we connected compensating resistance, we connected the same diagram, same negative feedback, same in the previous, with respect to the previous figure, we connected a compensated resistance here. The compensated resistance is connected here. It is connected to the non-inverting terminal. So this is the process where we can eliminate by providing a compensating resistance to the non-inverting terminal. To this particular non-inverting terminal, we are connecting a compensating resistance. Okay, so after connecting the compensating resistance, what will happen means this particular compensating resistance must be equal to the equivalent value of RF and R1. If RF and R1 are both seem to be connected in a parallel manner, R component or R compensation is equal to R1 parallel to RF. Okay, so this effect of output voltage which causes due to the bias currents IB minus and IB plus can be eliminated by connecting and compensating resistance. So let us see the mathematical analysis of the particular compensating resistance. So if we do the mathematical analysis to eliminate the output current, so we are doing the mathematical analysis here. The main objective of analyzing here, or the main objective of analysis is here to compensate. Main objective is to eliminate the error value. Okay, we did the mathematical analysis. What we did means current IB is flowing through the compensating resistance. IB minus current is flowing through the inverting terminal bias current, and IB plus current is flowing through the non-inverting terminal through the compensating resistance. See here, through the compensating resistance, IB plus current is flowing. So if we do the KVL to this particular circuit, what will the KVL expression means? Minus V1 with respect to minus V1 plus 0 plus V2 minus V0, output voltage is equal to 0. So if we take the output voltage, the voltage drop across, so what we did means here the input is 0. Here the input terminals are 0. So the difference between inverting and non-inverting terminals is 0. Okay. The voltage drop across the node A. This is the node A. See here very carefully. The voltage drop across node A is equal to this is the node B, is equal to the voltage drop across node B. The voltage drop across node A is equal to the voltage drop across node B. That means A and B, point A and point B are having same voltage drop values. Point A and point B are having same voltage drop values. But when two different nodes is having same voltage drop, at that condition V0 will be 0. That means if VA, voltage across A node equal to voltage across node B. If we apply zero voltages to the terminals, same voltages will be flowing through A and B. Okay, so how does that happen? Means due to biasing currents, right? There is a biasing current, magnitude of biasing current flowing through the terminal A and terminal B. Terminal A and terminal B, but two voltages are equal. At that condition, there is an existence of VD, difference in the voltage. Difference in the voltage. So what is the value of VD? VD is equal to V1 minus V2, that is equal to 0. V1 minus V2, that is equal to 0. That means so that voltage across the node A is equal to voltage across the node B. So when we apply KCL, when we apply KVL from V1 to V0, a path branch from the particular V1 branch to output V0 branch. So this is the expression we got. So from that, what is output value? V0 is equal to V2 minus V1. Okay, V0 is equal to V2 minus V1. V2 is nothing but voltage through the feedback resistance. V2 is nothing but voltage through the feedback resistance, and V1 is nothing but voltage in the compensating resistance. Compensating resistance, whereas V1 is nothing but drop with respect to IB. IB is nothing but base current in the inverting terminal into R compensating resistance. V is equal to IR. As per Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So V1 is equal to I base current into R component. So from that we can define the base current. I base current is equal to V1 divided by R component. That means by selecting a proper compensating resistance, V2 can be cancelled with respect to V1. Okay, that means what we have to do means we have to choose a proper compensating resistance. So here our objective in our analysis is we have to produce a zero output voltage when the condition, when input is zero. Our objective is to produce zero output voltage when input is when the input voltage is zero. At that condition, at what condition V0 is zero? At what condition V0 is 0? At that condition when V1 equal to V2. That means if we maintain V1 equal to V2, if we maintain V1 is equal to V2 by selecting a proper compensating resistance, our objective will be satisfied. V1 will equal to V2 and V0 equal to 0. V0 equal to 0. That means when V0 is equal to 0, what will happen means compensating resistance will derive that I1 is equal to V1 by R1. I1 is the current flowing with respect to resistance 1, that is the drop across the resistance 1. I1 is equal to V1 by R1, and I2 is the current flowing with respect to current flowing with respect to the second terminal. That is V2 divided by RF drop. Okay, so these are about the current description when current description when V0 equal to 0. That means if we apply KVL at particular node A, if we apply the KVL, if we apply the particular KVL to the node A, if we apply to the KVL at particular node A, so the ongoing current IB minus is nothing but base current which is flowing through the inverting terminal. IB minus, that is equal to I2 plus I1. So what we can do means substitute the value of, we have the value of I1 and we have the value of I2. If we substitute both of them, IB is equal to I2 value is equal to V2 divided by RF, and I1 is equal to V1 divided by RB. In this particular base current expression, we know that when V2 is equal to V1 in an ideal condition, this is an ideal condition we kept here. V2 is equal to V1. Substitute the value of V2 with respect to V1. here, if v1 v2 is equal to v1 here, and I have taken v1 common, ib is equal to v1 of 1 by r1 plus 1 by rf plus 1 by r1. Okay, and assume that ib plus is equal to ib minus. That means both base currents, current flowing through the inverting terminal of operational amplifier and current flowing through the non-inverting terminal of operational amplifier are having same magnitude, and ib plus is equal to ib minus. Even though they are having different polarity, if the base current of the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier and if the base current of the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier is having the same magnitude, if we having that ideal condition, if this ideal condition exists, what happens means ib what will be happening, what is the value of ib plus? So the value of ib plus is nothing but ib plus current flowing, ib plus is nothing but current flowing through the, ib plus is nothing but base current flowing through the non-inverting terminal, ib plus is equal to v1 divided by r component. So this is the drop, that is equal to ib minus. We already derived the value of ib minus here. This is the value of ib minus, this is the value of ib minus. So here we described with respect to ib minus. Okay, so and this v1 will get cancelled. So 1 by r component is equal to rf plus r1 divided by rf r1. Okay, so if we rewrite this expression, this particular expression in the form of r component compensating resistance, that is equal to rf into r1 by rf plus r1. So this is in the form of parallel circuit, a into b divided by a plus b. So that means the feedback resistance and the input resistance r1. What is rf? Is the feedback resistance. We know that from the circuit. From the circuit we know that rf is the feedback resistance, r1 is the input resistance, and r component is nothing but compensation resistance. So from the circuit, so what we analyzed at the end, at the end we analyzed the objective that r component, or that means compensation resistance value is equal to feedback resistance in parallel to r1. That means if we design the compensating resistance value equivalent to r1 and rf, which get paralleled, then we can provide zero output voltage at zero input signal. So that is objective. This is very simple, and this is very important. Okay, that means if we design a compensation resistance value which is equal to the feedback resistance in parallel to the input resistance, at that condition we can produce zero output voltage at zero input signals. Okay, so you can make output voltage to zero by making an compensating resistance equal to the parallel connected resistance of R1 and RF. That means we connected two resistances R1 and RF in the inverting terminals. That means if we hire two resistances R1 and RF, okay, R1 is to, if we hire two resistances R1 and RF, okay, whereas R1 is nothing but RF is nothing but output resistance. RF is nothing but output resistance, whereas R1 is nothing but input resistance of particular node A. And R component, see, this R component is connected in a parallel value to R1 and RF. Then we can maintain the output voltage, or we can maintain the output voltage value to zero when both the input voltages are zero, but some voltage is present due to input bias currents IB plus and IB minus. Right. At this condition, we are trying to minimize the value of V naught at V input equal to 0 by connecting an compensating resistance. At the inverting terminal, we can minimize the effect of biasing currents, IB minus and IB plus. So that is about the discussion of output voltage minimization to zero when the presence of biasing currents. So if we come to the second characteristics of DC, if we go to the second characteristics of DC characteristics of the second one, DC characteristics of operation amplifier, input offset current. Okay, we discussed in the previous class how this input offset current is produced. Okay, due to the difference of the biasing currents, that means see here, if we see the particular basic circuit, it will be clear. Due to the two input biasing currents, IB plus and IB minus, there is some output voltage present. Due to the input offset currents. There is a creation of input offset currents. An error is produced at output up to a range of 200 nanoamperes. So if we eliminate this particular input offset currents, so we have to design a particular operational amplifier with three resistances: input resistance, feedback resistance, and compensating resistance. So here also what we did means, here in the concept of input offset current also, because of the base currents, how the input offset current is created means, input offset current is nothing but a difference of magnitude between input biasing currents IB plus and IB minus. Okay, so to eliminate this input offset current flowing in the operational amplifier, even though it is very less, it is having a magnitude of 200 nanoamperes. 200 nanoamperes. What we did means, we connected three resistances, R1, RF, and R component or R compensation. R compensation is connected to non-inverting terminal, R input is connected to inverting terminal, and feedback resistance is connected in negative feedback connection is connected. So here we are eliminating the effect of input offset current. Input offset current is represented with capital I suffix IOS. Capital I is nothing but current, input small I, input offset, IOS in the sense input offset. Okay, this is the expression for input offset current from the definition we discussed in the yesterday's class. What is input offset current? Input offset current is equal to, it is a difference of base currents at a particular magnitude. Okay, right. So how to eliminate this particular input offset current means, a high feedback terminal is connected to the inverting terminal and output terminal. This is the high feedback terminal, RF. High feedback resistance is connected to the output terminal and inverting terminal. The main objective is to eliminate input offset currents. Okay, so we have to design the circuit in a T-shaped circuit. We will discuss how this is the T-shaped circuit. See, this is a T, we call that as a T feedback circuit. This is the actual good solution. That means what we just simplified that T feedback circuit into RF, and we described it here. Okay, high feedback resistance is described in the manner of RF, but how can we connect in a practical manner means, we will connect the feedback circuit in a T-shaped manner. It's in the T feedback network. Okay, that means a large amount of feedback resistance is deployed here. Okay, a large amount of feedback resistance is deployed here. Okay, I'm showing in that that large amount of feedback resistance here in the particular equivalent circuit manner, that is RF, so that our analysis, our mathematical analysis will be clear. Okay, right. So the feedback resistance on a T circuit, RT, is nothing but actual feedback resistance. Okay, so we will find how the particular input offset current will be neglected. Okay, if we do the mathematical analysis, we know that the actual input offset current flowing in the circuit is very less, that is 200 nanoamperes. Okay, so right, So in what if we see the circuit again, inverting terminal is connected to input resistance and the V input 1 is grounded, that is 0, and our compensating resistance is connected to non-inverting terminal and V input 2, V input 2 is 0, and here the feedback resistance is connected to the inverting terminal and output terminal high. So here there is a difference, that is this is the high feedback resistance, high terminal feedback is connected to inverting operational amplifier and output terminal. Okay, so here IB minus, that means base current flowing in the inverting terminal, that is equal to I1 plus I2. We used the same expression in previous class. So for previous discussion, that is at input base currents. Okay, so I2, the value of I2 is equal to IB minus I1. So from this expression we got, we splitted the expression in the name of I2. Okay, so again I2 is equal to IB minus V1 divided by R1, where V1 value is existed at the node B. V1 value is existed at the node B. So V1 is nothing but voltage drop across the resistance. Voltage drop across the resistance or compensation. How can we represent V1 is equal to voltage drop across R compensation? V1 is equal to IB plus into R component. That's why I represented V1 value into IB into R component. Whereas V1 is nothing but voltage drop across R component. That is IB plus into R component is represented in the name of V1. Whereas I2 is equal to IB minus IB plus divided by R component divided by R1. Okay. So if we simplify further, this is the value of I2 we got. So if we define the output voltage, okay, output voltage, if we define the output voltage expression, to find the output voltage expression, I1 and I2 values are designed, and the output voltage, that is equal to V0 is equal to I2 RF minus V1. Okay, so what is the value of what is the value of V0 means? What is the value of V0 means? V0, sorry, one second. V0 is equal to V2 minus V1. Actually V0 is equal to V2 minus V1 with output voltage V2 minus V1. So what is the drop across V2? We described the drop across V1, that is IB plus into RF. Similarly, the drop across V2 is equal to I2 is the current flowing in the feedback resistance into RF. Okay, V0 is represented in this manner. V0 is equal to, sorry, V2 is equal to I2 into RF. Finally, V0 is equal to I2 into RF minus V1. Okay, so if we simplify further, we represented V2 is nothing but voltage drop across feedback resistance. We represented the value of V1 is nothing but voltage drop across compensating resistances, that is I2 into RF minus IB plus into R compensation. Okay, so we know the value of I2 here. Already we calculated the value of I2 here. Substitute that value of I2 here. Okay, and this will be the expression. This is the value of I2 into RF minus IB minus into R compensation. R compensation. That means if we re-simplify this entire expression, V0 is equal to IB minus into RF. We substitute here again, and minus IB into R compensation divided by R compensation. So here what we did means we taken this is in the format of A by B plus 1. Okay, this feedback resistance with respect to input resistance plus 1. So we have taken this into common. And again we re-simplified again from the initial expression. We know that R compensation, value of R compensation, the R compensation is nothing but R compensation is equal to where R1 and RF are connected in a parallel manner. So from the previous discussion, we know that R compensation is equal to RF into R1 divided by R1 plus RF. I again resubstituted the value here. Resubstituted the value of here, and again if we simplify, the value of V0 is equal to IB into RF minus IB plus into RF. That means here the base current. So this entire thing is in the form of base current with respect to feedback resistance. That is output voltage V naught is equal to IB minus IB plus into feedback resistance. So what is this value? This value is nothing but the actual definition of input offset current. Capital I suffix IOS is nothing but the definition of input offset current. That's why the output voltage is represented in the terms of input offset current multiplied with feedback resistance. That what does that means? So here the input offset current is minimized by taking a proper feedback resistance value. By taking a proper feedback resistance value. So this is how we connect a T resistance, actual T resistance. What happens means high impedance resistance is connected with respect to R1, and R1 is nothing but a larger feedback resistance. Okay, RF value must be high if the R1 value is high. So what happens means if the feedback resistance is high, we can obtain a proper relational gain. Okay, that means with the help of the T feedback resistance, it is a very good solution for eliminating input offset current, and also we can provide a proper resistance to the circuit, and also we can create a proper relational gain. Okay, so this is how we analyzed the circuit. So these are the characteristics we studied. We discussed about input bias currents. We discussed about input bias currents. We discussed about input offset currents. We discussed about input offset voltage, and we discussed about thermal drift. Okay, so input offset voltage. In the last input offset current, we discussed about input offset current, and what is meant by input offset voltage means if both the input terminals are grounded, ideally if it is ideal condition, what happens means output is zero. But practically what happens means practically it will produce very small amount of output voltage. So to nullify this voltage, some voltage has to be applied either of the two inputs. This is called as input offset voltage. That means here the objective is to nullify the offset voltages. Okay, so next important characteristics is output offset voltage. So this input offset voltage here we can see in the pin diagram. So at pin 1 and pin 5, if we check the pin 1 and pin 5, we can clearly see the input offset voltage. Pin 1 and pin 5 is nothing but input offset null pins, additional voltage which is applied to nullify the offset voltage. That means to nullify the offset components, there is a process. To nullify these offset components, we are applying input offset voltages. Okay, so coming to the next one is output offset voltage. So the effect of input bias currents IB plus and IB minus, and offset current capital I suffix IOS, and voltage V1 and V2. So these are all things. What will happen means these all components, input bias currents, offset currents, offset voltages, this will create some DC ripples in the output. Okay, these particular DC ripples at the output is obtained even when the input is grounded. Okay, so this DC voltages which is present at the output when both inputs are grounded, that is nothing but output offset voltage. That means when the V input terminals, when V1, V input 1 and V input 2 are 0, because of the creation of the biasing currents, there creates an output voltage of DC magnitude with a particular error, that is called as output offset voltage. Okay, and next we discussed about thermal drift or temperature drift. Thermal drift or temperature drift. That means the main purpose is here. Thermal drift is nothing but our temperature drift or temperature effect. That means operational amplifier performance will vary with respect to temperature and supply, voltage and time. That means operational amplifier performance will behave in one manner when it's operated at room temperature, and if the performance changes when the temperature changes. That means here operational amplifier parameter is a temperature dependent one. That means if the operational amplifier works at room temperature, the output performance is good. If the temperature rises beyond the room temperature, then the performance will get changes. So how can we define thermal drift? Means the entire thermal drift or temperature effect of operational amplifier will affect on offset voltages and bias currents. So that's why we defined here input offset voltage drift, that is equal to change in voltage with respect to change in time. Okay, that means the dependency of all parameters of operational amplifier, which depends upon temperature. That means the parameters of operational amplifier which depends upon temperature as a factor, it is called as thermal drift. Thermal drift or temperature drift or temperature effect. That means the average rate of change of input at which the average rate of change of input at which the output is also getting changes. That means the input changes with respect to output with respect to change in temperature, it is called as temperature drift. Okay, so here, so from this now we discussed about the characteristics of operational amplifier. First characteristic is input bias current, second characteristic is input offset current, and third characteristic is input offset voltage, fourth characteristic is output offset voltage, and last one is thermal drift. Okay, so here we concluded DC characteristics of operational amplifier, right?